Okay, so today we'll be learning about how to find the mass of an object and the volume of the object. But first, let's define what mass is. Mass, by definition, is the amount of matter in an object. We typically say that mass is how much stuff is in an object. Two things determine the mass of an object. First off is the type of matter that it's made of. So when I say the type of matter, I'm talking about the type of atoms that it's made of. And the second part is the arrangement of that atoms, how close they are together or how far they are apart from each other. So let's take a look at an example. So here I have a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter empty container. So right now it is filled with air. Air particles are very far apart and they tend to be light. So the mass of this would be light. We use a scale to find the mass of an object. So first you turn your scale on, and in science class we tend to measure everything in grams. So if you take a look here, that it says 0.0, I know it's in grams because it has a little g there. If I wanted to change the unit, I would use the button on the right. Now it is in ounces, and now it's back in grams. So I'm going to weigh this 10 by 10 centimeter container, and let's imagine that we're just dealing with the atoms that make it up. So right now it's made up of air, so the mass is 94.0 grams. Now I can also fill this up with a different type of matter. I can put some cotton balls in it. So if I fluff my cotton balls up where they're not very close together, I will get one mass, and so the container is full of cotton balls now. And before I start, I want to make sure that my scale says 0. So to zero it out, I push the button on the left. And when I place this on here, now the mass is different. It's 1/16 because it's made out of something else, air and cotton balls. Also with the arrangement, if I stuff as many cotton balls as possible in there, it's still made out of the same type of matter, but the particles are closer together. So therefore, it will have a greater mass, because remember, mass is the amount of matter inside of an object. So if I stuff this full of as many cotton balls as I can fit, now it's 151 grams. So the mass changed, but my volume, which is the size, did not change. I also have a wooden block over here that is also 10 by 10 centimeters. So it's the same size, but it has a different volume. Now I need to use a different scale for this one because this weighs more, has a greater mass than that scale can measure. So now this says 0, I'm still in grams, and if I place this on here, it weighs 742 grams. So this one has a different type of atom that it's made up of. It's made out of wood, so it has a greater mass. I also have this one over here, still the same size, but it has plastic inside. And this one weighs 684. So this one, they're all the same size. I have the cotton balls, which weigh 100 and something. The plastic, which weighs 600 and something. And then the wood, which weighed 700 and something. So all of those has to do with the mass, the amount of matter, how much stuff, the type of matter, and the arrangement of it, okay? So when you're measuring mass of an object, if it's a solid, it's easy. You can just measure it straight onto the scale. But if it's a liquid, you can't just pour the liquid on the scale because it will ruin your scale. So you have to use a container. But because everything that's made out of matter has mass, you must know how much it weighs. So there's two ways you can do this. First, you can weigh the container that you're going to use, and this graduated cylinder, which is used to measure the volume of a liquid, weighs 40.8 grams. So I can use that, and I can pour my liquid water. I've colored purple so that you can see it better. So I have 64 milliliters in here. So if I place this on the scale, it now weighs 107.3. So if I want to know how much just the water weighs, then I would subtract this. So it'll be 66.5 grams. I think I did that right. 13, 5, 6. Okay, 66.5 grams. Okay. So now the other way that I could do this is, if I had a nice, fresh, clean graduated cylinder, I can place it on the scale. And the same button that's used to turn the scale on and off is also the 0 button. So when you press the 0, it takes away the mass of the container. So you can then just pour your liquid or your powder or whatever you need straight into the graduated cylinder. And I'll try to get it close to the same mark, which was around 64. The reason why I'm holding it up is because when you measure the volume of a liquid, you want to hold it at eye level so that you can get a better reading. This is, so now it's 63.2. So I'm close, but not quite the same. So that is how you find the mass of a solid using a scale and the mass of a liquid using a graduated cylinder.